If you're having trouble climbing from one rank to the next, then this video is bound to help you. We have tips to climb out of every single rank so you surely can break through this upcoming next competitive season. We're also going to break down the biggest mistakes for each rank and what you have to be able to do if you want to surpass your rank and climb to the next rank. But before we get started, smash that beautiful subscribe button. Go grab yourself a snack, kick back, relax, and let's just jump right into it. Now, kicking it right off, we're gonna talk about the Wild West of Valorant, and that's right, we're talking about Iron. Now, typically Iron players consist of players who either haven't played that many FPS shooters, haven't played Valorant all that much, or this might be their first computer game. Now, there are some things you have to iron out if you want to make it to the next rank, Silver. Of course, you got to get your crosshair placement on point. Every single time you turn the corner, your crosshair should be head level. Pretty basic stuff, but you would be surprised how important this is for later on. Expert crosshair placement is key. On top of that, mastering one or two heroes and understanding the basic ability use for every hero. As far as what abilities do, the fact that you can interact with certain abilities like shooting sonic arrows or shooting trap wires, this is all basic learning the game of Valorant. On top of that, another big problem that people have in Iron is people like to jump and move while shooting. They're typically trying to run and gun, and this is because they don't really understand how Valorant works. You gotta stand still, you have to counter strafe in order to hit your shots. This isn't Overwatch, this isn't Quake. You have to play this shooter game within the rule set of Valorant, which is going to be very akin to something like CSGO. On top of that, no map knowledge. Like, you need to be able to understand general map knowledge. This just comes down to you just playing the game more. You're not going to know a map that you haven't played, but after you play a map enough, you will remember that map like it's the back of your hand. I mean, there's so many Halo 2 maps that I think I remember more than even houses I've lived in. Is that kind of crazy? But I've just played on them 1,000 times, and you will learn maps in Valorant the same if you just put in the proper amount of time. Now, after you do all these things, you're going to rank up to the Silver rank, which is that segue out of players who don't really play shooters and don't really have that much shooter knowledge, making the transition to some people that have not necessarily CSGO, but other types of FPS or competitive shooter backgrounds. This is the transitionary period, and what you have to learn in Silver is specifics about Valorant in general. You have to learn proper eco. Buy when your teammates buy, save when your teammates are saving. You need to be saving up to that 4,000 because you want full armor plus AR. All of this is just the proper eco of the game. It's also very important in Silver that you start trading off of each other's kills. Now, the reason why this is so important is that trading each other's kills is really easy. I mean, if one of your teammates dies and does some damage to somebody, you swinging that person when you have perfect information and trading out is really easy. It doesn't even take that much skill to do, but it's one of the most important things as you rank up is to make sure you consistently trade out kills. So in Silver, every single game, you should be trading out kills non-stop. Now, the last thing is movement proficiency, which we talked about before, but realistically, you need to learn how to counter strafe. You need to make sure that you understand how to swing an angle, counter strafe, stop, and hit your shot right on point. This is going to make you far more consistent. This is going to allow you to be aggressive. One of the most important things you need to do in Silver. And if you really learn these things, the proper eco, movement proficiency, trading each other's kills, you will climb out of Silver just like that. Now, a big mistake in Silver that happens to a lot of players is they worry far too much about macro, which would be the overarching understanding of the game, and not enough about their own aim and performance. Realistically, your own personal aim and performance can hard carry you all the way to plat and diamond, but if you're always focusing on team composition or complex strats, none of that really matters at the lower ranks, because if you are far and away better and you have better fundamentals or micro performance, you're going to be able to consistently get a numbers advantage, pop off, and carry tons and tons of games right to the gold rank. Now, moving on to the gold rank, the least toxic rank in all of Valorant. Wait, no, it's not. Anyways, as you get up to gold, you're gonna need a higher level mechanical skill than both in Silver and Iron. Of course, you're gonna need to start clearing every single corner. This is really when you start to dig into sight control and playing off your abilities. It's incredibly important not to just have 3 people walk past the corner, someone camping in it, and you all die. It's also important that you learn how to flash correctly, follow up abilities like recon, follow up setups by all these different abilities, pushing in as a team. These are all very important factors once you get to gold. Now, in order to build up that mechanical skill, you're going to want to start training either practice or something in Kovac Aim Trainer, just against bots, whatever you want to do. You should put some time and effort every single day to honing that mechanical skill. Clearing corners definitely take time, but it is worth the amount of time you put in. If you ever watch any pro player, when they are pushing onto a site, They don't leave any of the site uncleared, and you don't have true site control until you clear out every single corner on site. So that's something that's incredibly important. Now, a big mistake that happens a lot in gold is you either lose gunfights simply due to poor mechanics, and people that are in plat or diamond just have better mechanics than you, or you're not playing your role properly. You're either failing to use your abilities correctly and playing off them, like you're smoking your own entry, you're not smoking off the silence of enemies, you're not routing correctly, or you're playing an entry role, someone like Jet, Reyna, or whatever, and you are constantly baiting your team. You're not being that initiator, you're not going in first, you're not creating that space, that aggression, you're not racking up first bloods. Every single character has a role that they need to identify, and you need to understand how to play your role correctly, or else you're just going to set yourself up for failure down the road. Now moving on to the plat rank, you're starting to get to the higher rank tiers, and in plat and throughout plat, you're going to start playing up against diamond players and sometimes low immortal players if you're at the upper end of plat. Now, in order to improve past plat, you're going to need proficiency with all types of weapons, whether they're pistols, snipers, rifles, whatever. You can't just be like a rifle one trick or a sniper one trick or a pistol one trick or whatever. You need to be proficient with everything. And also, there is a lot less margin for error. Easy shots, especially easy sniper shots, are something that you need to hit 100% of the time or close to it. Consistency is a big key getting through plat. If you're holding an angle with an op and someone peeks it and you miss a very simple shot, then that could lose a game that you would have won if you would have hit those shots 100% of the time. And that's really important for you to understand. The margin for error is a lot less. You also need to learn the intricacies of eco. Play close attention to the eco of the enemy, what their ultimate's at, what their eco point is, whether they're going to force buy or safe. All these factors need to be running through your mind because it better lets you position and have a game plan according to what the enemy is most likely to have and what they're most likely to do. You also need to try to use your ultimates effectively to try to secure close rounds, putting them in the bag and basically using them as the difference maker in order to secure round after round. This also means things like going and securing orbs whenever you can as a team. Also in plat, you're going to see a lot more coordinated plays, coordinated smoke plays, flashing, routing, things like that are all things that either you can call as a player or you can just follow the lead and do your job, whether it's like, hey, let's flash this and let's peek it, or hey, can you smoke off this place and this place, they ping it on the map, and then you push onto site. Whatever it is, you're gonna have a lot more coordinated plays as you rank up through plat, when there were a lot less coordinated plays down in gold, silver, and iron. Now, one thing I would suggest for you to do is experiment with mix-ups and differences in play styles. There is not just one die-hard play style for every single character, and sometimes if you watch pro players, some pros will have a different playstyle on a character, or they'll mix up their playstyles mid-round. Like one time they'll be aggressive, another time they'll be defensive, one time they'll play this angle with opping or whatever. Experiment with mix-ups so you become a lot harder to predict. Now, a big mistake that happens even in plat rank is not trading out every death by your ally. And I mean every single death. There should almost never be a death that you allow to happen that doesn't get traded out in some capacity. And if one of your teammates die, you should trade out that death. But if you die, let's say you peek a long angle to an op that you definitely knew the enemy had because you could see their eco or they saved it, and your allies can't trade that out, then that is 100% your fault, and that's your mistake because you set yourself up to die in a scenario that is impossible for your allies to trade out with, which is one of those unacceptable deaths that can almost never happen or should almost always be avoided. Now, another big mistake in the plat rank is not identifying the win condition. And what am I talking about the win condition? This is what it will take to win the round. So maybe the spike is down and the enemy has to plant, but they only have 5 seconds. Now, you as the defender, all you have to do is live, and the win condition is for you to just get out of there. But instead of getting out of there, you take the duel and die, and you allow the enemy team to win the round because they killed you, they don't even have to plant. This is an inability to understand the win condition of the round, and you almost always need to think about what the win condition is because it's always something different. What is the win condition of this round? Oh, there's an opera long, so maybe while my team is pushing onto point, I should wrap around and push long because the spike is planted within line of sight of the opera, and we don't have any way to stop the opera from basically having a free kill on us when we try to defuse. That is understanding the win condition and you making a game plan to kind of play into that or play against the enemy's win condition. This is a very important thing that you have to learn, and the more you develop this, the more you develop this game sense, the more you're going to be able to make clutch decisions on a fly and really make the right decision so that your mechanical skill can guide you to a victory instead of having the right mechanics but the wrong game plan and losing just because of a poor one. And then the last 2 things in the plat rank is 1, build up consistency, and this is just going to take you playing a good good amount. If you're stuck at the plat rank, you just need to grind it out. You just need to play more Valorant, pretty much practice your mechanical skill, practice with all the weapons, practice everything I'm talking about, and over time, you will start to get better and better, of course. And then last up is just don't tilt. And this is the enemy of all of us, I know, but if you're playing tilted, then you're not playing at your best. And honestly, you might need to walk away from your computer, you might need to go take a break, maybe even call it for the entire night, but try not to tilt if at all possible, because it's only going to affect your win rate negatively. Now, the last rank we're going to talk about is the diamond rank. And once you get to the diamond rank, meta and macro understanding is going to matter a lot more, because almost everyone in diamond is going to have a certain level of mechanical skill, character understanding, all the fundamentals like crosshair placement, map knowledge, and things like that. And so something that you need to know if you want to climb out of diamonds is you need to learn the strengths and weaknesses of every single character on an enemy team composition, and also the strengths and weaknesses each characters have on certain maps, or what is good on certain maps. Essentially, you're understanding the meta, and you're understanding, hey, their team does not have this thing, so they're weak. Or maybe, hey, they don't have any info. That means that they're gonna have a lot harder time rotating. So if we rotate quickly, they're not gonna get as much information about that. And if we aggressively rush, they're not gonna have as much stall or whatever. This is just something that you can identify right off the bat. Or maybe you say, hey, we don't have any smokes in this team composition. I'm a flexible player. I can flex to a brimstone or an omen so that we have a way to block off op or sightlines, because we're playing Ascent. It's a really op heavy map, and if we don't have smokes, we're just gonna get absolutely annihilated. These are the things that you need to start thinking about when you're playing in Diamond if you want to rank up past it. On top of that, we need to revisit expert crosshair placement, but this one is based on map knowledge and the ability to go up to an angle, jiggle peek that angle for info, or jiggle peek pre-fire that angle. With expert crosshair placement counter strafing is going to set up for a lot of favorable trades that pretty much just come out of nowhere. You're going to need to keep on honing that mechanical skill and pushing it higher and higher, because some of those tiny victories in 1v1s because of mechanical skill will add up over time. You're going to need consistency across multiple characters and adaptation, something I touched on already, and you never ever want to be shut down or rolled by an enemy player over and over again. And if this keeps happening, think of a game plan and try to adapt your play in a way that this does not happen, and you are not the catalyst to give the enemy team an opportunity to make a play. Now, the last tip I'm going to give you for just ranking up past Diamond or beyond is you are at the heels of Immortal and Pro level players at this point, so you should start watching high level streams and pro matches. I would highly suggest players like Hiko, Tens, Wardell, Drone, many more. Learn from how they play, their temperament, their mechanical skill, their confidence, and try to learn things from their stream, understand how they got so good, what decisions they make in every single scenario, and start adopting those insane tips into your games. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Smash that beautiful subscribe button if you learned anything here, and if you have any questions, definitely let me know in the comments down below. That's all I got for you today. I'm Coach Mills, and of course, until next time.